Hello Stampers, I've got a pretty little dragonfly card for you today. This dragonfly is making ripples on the water. So I'm going to show you how to make this panel and the card step by step. So let's get started. We're going to be using the Dragonfly Garden stamp set. And I'm going to team it up with the Forever Flourishing dies from Stampin' Up. This has lots of flowers and such in it. We're going to be using this fern leaf right here. And I also used the circle dies. We have a circle die set, circle layering dies I think it's called. And we're going to need a 3-inch circle, a 2 1/8 or a 2-inch, and a 1 1/8 or a 1-inch. So it's this is how they measured out. But if you have your punches or whatever you want to die cut or cut them, feel free to use those. But you'll need 3 circles that kind of layer inside of each other, and you have quite a bit of room, probably a 1/2 inch in between each of your layers. So we're going to be using those. I'm going to start off right away with our basic white panel. Now you can find all the dimensions for this card down below this video. Just click show more and you'll see all the dimensions there along with all the links to the products that I used. I'm going to start with a blending brush and a Balmy Blue ink pad. And I'm just going to put this Balmy Blue all over this panel here. This is our water base. So that is our Balmy Blue. And then we're going to use Pacific Point ink and our circles here. We're going to start with our largest circle. And I'm going to have it more towards the bottom right corner. It's a little off center. And I don't want to come all the way to the edge because I want some of that circle showing there. So I'm just going to use a blending brush and I'm going to blend around this circle, and I'm just going to try to stay really tight into where the circle is by holding this down. You could use post-it notes or whatever to cut your circles if you wanted to. I just use scrap cardstock to do mine, and I'm just holding them on instead of having them stick to it. So there is our largest circle, which was 3-inch. I'm going to go to our medium circle here, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and center it up. And I'm going to do that same thing with this Pacific Point. Just go around the edge, and you definitely don't want to bring that color out as far as your largest circle. You want some lightness in between the two. It's okay if it looks a little blotchy. So there is our medium circle, and then we're going to go to our small circle. So I'm just going to hold that on, put a little color around it. And you just got to kind of move your finger out of the way, and you can turn your panel also to make it a little easier. Just get some color around it, and there is our ripples in the water. So simple. Okay, so moving right along, we're going to stamp our dragonfly. I'm going to use Memento Tuxedo Black for this. And you could pick either dragonfly. There's 2 of them in the set. And their wings are a little different. So I'm just using that black, and I'm going to stamp it kind of at an angle. There we go. So there is our dragonfly. I'm going to take a basic black Stampin' Blend marker, and I'm going to use the fine tip here. And I'm just going to color in the actual body of the dragonfly. I'm just making it a little darker. So just that little bit of color kind of makes it pop a little more. Then I'm going to take some dark Old Olive Stampin' Blend marker. I'm using the brush tip here. And I'm just adding some of that to the inside of the wings. Leaving the tip of the wing clear. Then I'm going to take a Signo white gel pen, and I'm going to add some of that white gel pen to the inside of the wing here, just to scribble it on, and I'm going to take my finger and smear it out. So about half the wing, and then give it a smear. It kind of dulls down some of that Old Olive a little bit and give some substance to the wing. There we go. And then I'm just going to add a little dot on each eye of the dragonfly. So there is our scene in a nutshell. That was easy, right? So we're going to start putting this together. And I have an Old Olive panel here that's 3 5/8, and I'm going to add my dragonfly to it. Just use a multi-purpose glue, but you can use whatever you'd like for adhesive here. Multi-purpose is my go-to. And just going to center that up on that panel. Then I'm going to take a Mossy Meadow panel that's 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to add this panel on. There we go. And then I die cut those leaves, those fern leaves, using that die set, the Forever Flourishes dies. And I cut them out of Old Olive using the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I cut 2 of them. And I'm just going to add them to my panel here. And these are like draping over your water. So I'm just using a little multi-purpose glue on these. This whole thing will not fit on there. I know that already. We're going to be cutting some of it off. But I'm just lightly adding just a little bit of glue to this. Then I'm going to add it on here. There we go. Just give it a press. And then I have this other one. I'm going to do the same. This is a really pretty die. This fern leaf. You can use it for so many different scenes where you have water in it. Be great for the foreground in them. Alright, and this I'm just going to kind of angle down and around. I don't want to cover up my dragonfly any. Adding it on there. And then I'm just going to take a pair of paper snips, and I'm going to flip this over. And I'm just going to trim around this so that these are flush with the panel. Use your paper trimmer for this also. Here we go. So now we have those flush with our card panel. That's going to go on our card base. This is a Balmy Blue panel. That's 5.5 by 8.5. I'm just going to Use my bone folder on the crease there. This is 5.5 by 8.5, and I folded it in half to create a quarter card. And then we'll just layer this up on the front of our card. You can certainly add bling or whatever you want to your card. I kept mine fairly simple. Simple is sometimes better on your scenes. And then I have an old olive panel. This is 4 by 5.25. It's just going to go in the back to balance my card. So my card front isn't so much more heavier than the back side. Just gives you a really good balanced card there. And there is our project for today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you give it a try. It's a quick one. Thanks for joining me. Bye.